This is the north end of Christie Street. And just behind me, along St. Clair Avenue West, is this year's edition of the Salsa on St. Clair Street Festival. And I just recorded that. You should be able to find that video on the channel by now. But for this one, what I'm going to be doing is exploring Christie Street. So I'm going to be heading south all the way down into Koreatown. I'm not sure if I'm going to be finishing up at Christie Station or going to Bathurst Station, but it should be about 2 kilometers from St. Clair here down to Bloor Street. That's a 512 St. Clair streetcar replacement bus, as obviously those have been made necessary as they can't run the streetcars through the festival. So I'm guessing most of these people made their way up on the Christie bus here from Christie Station.
I wouldn't mind like living on my own.
So if I were in a hurry, I could probably get down there in 20-25 minutes or so. There's always a backup of buses when this happens. And did I forget to do an intro to this one? Sometimes it happens. Hey there, it's Saturday, July 11th, 2026, 2:46 p.m. is the time. The temperature is a very nice and actually a little hotter than I would like it, 26 degrees Celsius. And again, I'm here on St. Clair, or just south of St. Clair Avenue West on Christie Street. How much is the house at 627 Christie Street for rent for in Toronto?
The lower level apartment at 627 Christie Street is listed for rent at $1,800 per month. It features 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, and under 700 square feet of space.
Jeez. For reference, I used to live right around the corner from here on Wychwood. I moved to this neighborhood when I moved back from Korea in 2014. And I was paying about $900 for a space bigger than that in a basement. That was in another basement before I moved to Korea in like 2026. That was south of here on Pendrith. And that was like $750 a month. And that was right by Christie Station. Well, to the left here, we have the Wychwood Barns. Some volleyball going on. And this is an old streetcar facility, but it's been replaced by Hillcrest, which is just south of here. But it was preserved, I think, in 2008 or 2009 and turned into this community space. See some of the doors there where the streetcars would enter. There's a lot of units in here for artists. It looks like we just missed something. Oh well, let's get back to Christie Street. There's apparently live workspaces for artists there. There's a few different community organizations housed in that spot as well. Some small galleries and an event space. And there's more to the park on the other sides of the building. Although it looks like there's a massive redevelopment going on. And an off-leash zone for dogs is always welcome. So the street's about to start sloping downwards towards Davenport. Native plants at work. It's a learning garden. I wonder what the plans are for this property. Looks kind of abandoned. It's definitely seen better days. Oh, these ones too. Let me know down in the comments if you know what's planned for those spots. Old walk-up apartment. There's a park I want to cut through. It'll be coming up in a few blocks. It's a 512 St Clair replacement bus. Press the button. Hope no one kills me. No jets TO, save the Toronto Islands. We're starting to see more and more of that fire up again. I think the St. Clair replacement buses might be going east-west along Davenport to the south of here. And the surrounding neighborhood is known as Hillcrest Village. I've done a few walks featuring it before. Alright, it should be just on the right here. You'll notice there's a sad excuse for bike lanes here. Just a painted line. Hillcrest Park. I think I've cut through here once before. I don't know if I did it on a video. I do seem to have a memory of going through this place. Pretty sure I can cut right through and pop out near Christie and Davenport. Public restrooms. There's an ice cream truck. Rather nicely landscaped property right there. Canadian flag is a bit old and worn. So I think this park's about 2 hectares. Is that an off-leash zone? It's kind of completely open. I don't know if I've seen that before. It's an off-leash zone, but it isn't.
They're updating like the outside right now, like the playground.
There's a big splash pad, a lot of kids, a big playground. Nobody is playing tennis. A nice little community park. Yep, that confirms it. No coyotes. I think there was another staircase I wanted to take that was more left of here. Oh well, this one should still spit me out onto Davenport, I hope. It's taking me way out here. Davenport Road here is one of Toronto's oldest routes. It was established long before European settlement came to the area. Yeah, let's cross. Looks like there's another park just south of here. Well, we gotta make it back to Christie. This was an important east-west route to get across the city. In fact, just a little bit east of here at Bathurst, there's an old tollkeeper's cottage that was once manned by a family whose job it was to do just that, collect tolls from passers-by. Apparently it wasn't a very lucrative business to be in. I'm pretty sure if I came down on the other side of those tennis courts, I would have been able to come come down over here, but I'm not seeing where. Maybe that was the only way down. This is a route that kind of followed the natural geography of Toronto. This is where Lake Iroquois used to have its shoreline. That's why everything slopes down towards here. Oh, there's the staircase. Oh well, we got a nice little detour out of it. Nigerian cuisine. Gotta love Toronto. And it's back to Christie Street. I mentioned Hillcrest Village. I think more specifically that was Brackendale Hill where I was earlier. Look at that van. We'll be heading underneath the Midtown Rail Corridor pretty soon, and walking by a factory that was once where you could buy a Ford Model T. Not only could you buy it there, but they would assemble it in that building as well. And it later became a Planters Peanuts factory. Stretch is kind of nondescript. I think that's a seniors living facility over there. But it's a neat blend of older homes, walk-ups and mid-rises. Not much of a commercial presence, at least not until I get to DuPont. That Honda Civic driver had no intentions on stopping for that lady until she had to point. Yeah, that's a long-term care facility. And off in the distance, we can see One Bloor West. It's hard to lock onto it while I'm walking zoomed in so much. But DuPont here is an old industrial corridor. And this rail line has a lot to do with that. Just on the right here is an old building that dates back to 1915. That went up during the era of the Ford Model T. The ground floor was a showroom, while, believe it or not, the vehicles were assembled in the upper floors. But in the 20s, Ford moved its production to a much larger facility. And it was later occupied by Planters Peanuts in the 40s, who were here, believe it or not, until the 80s. I'll spin around and get a better look at the building when we're on the other side of the street. There's Loblaws. At Christie and DuPont still open? I'm gonna ask my AI assistant.
Yes, the Loblaws location at Christie and DuPont is still open. Its regular operating hours are daily.
It just looks like a ghost town. There's the Golden Horseshoe Barbecue. I believe that was a Starbucks at one point. This building has historical status, so it's not going anywhere. Merchants Bank of Canada, 1915. DuPont is lined with old warehouses and factories. Well, they've got a big smoker behind that building. How much is the one-bedroom unit for lease at 270 Christie Street in Toronto? Come on, Gemini. How much is the one-bedroom unit for lease at 270 Christie Street in Toronto? Don't screw it up. Okay, Gemini, you suck. You thoroughly suck. Crossroad Cafe, breakfast, coffee, tea. Christie Coin Laundry. When I lived in the area, I used to go to, I think it was called Spin Cycle Coin Laundry, which was just up here on the right. And this place has been a staple of the neighborhood forever. Dave fixed my bike. Quite trusting, just leaving a bike there. That sign over there says Annex Village. That is actually in Seton Village. The Annex is east of Bathurst, which is well east of here. to do my laundry. Memories, fine artisanal wine and food. There's a great independent supermarket coming up on the right here. Fiesta Farms. I think it's the largest independent grocery store in Toronto. There's a home for sale, but I'm scared to ask Google. How much is the home for sale at 225 Christie Street?
Listed for sale at $1,788,000. It is a semi-detached property featuring 3+1 bedrooms and 4 bathrooms.
There you go. She answered that time. In between this and PAT Supermarket in Koreatown, that's where I did all my groceries when I lived around here. It was for less than a year. It's known for its local produce. They have a lot of specialty and imported goods. Whew. That vehicle stinks. They've got a large garden center here as well. Attached to a very big parking lot. It's a very large, valuable parcel of land. Here's where I lived, Penrith Street.
Then some other drivers say
That was a basement apartment that was like $750. And this place on the corner has changed hands a number of times. And just up ahead is Christie Park, home of the Maple Leafs. It was originally called Willowdale Valley Park, or I think just Willowdale Park actually. But people called it Christie Pits, as it used to be an old sand and gravel pit. In fact, that name was used so much so that the city officially renamed it in the early 80s. And my brother used to play baseball here in the Inter-County League. I remember we'd always park in this area. And I'd often go to that convenience store that used to be there. It's now an ice cream parlor, it looks like. just kids, but this is where the Toronto Maple Leafs play, who feature Yasiel Puig of MLB fame. There's been a number of ex-MLB players. It's the only stadium in the Intercounty League that is free admission. This park is a lot more than the stadium. There's skating facilities over there. There's a skate park, a soccer pitch, large open areas as well. But the present Maple Leafs Baseball Club, I think, was established in the 60s. They borrowed the name from a much older Toronto baseball club. And when my brother played in the league, it was a semi-professional league, but I think they've gone full professional now. And I guarantee you that's the best quality field in whatever league that is those kids are playing in. I've talked about this park and its history before. There was a big riot in the park a long time ago, back in the 30s. And just south of here is where it ends at Bloor Street. Continues on south of Bloor as Grace Street. It's not uncommon to see kids tobogganing down here in the winter. There's people picnicking. This is one of the parks where you can legally consume alcohol beverages. Right at the edge of Koreatown. Sounds like there's a party going on in the park. All those picnickers. Now. Well, there's some kind of event. It's an inflatable castle. Bob Marley. Well, his music. I'm gonna get zapped by the music copyright gods if I head over there. I had a thought to walk through Koreatown at the end of this, but I think I'm just going to finish up right here and then pop into Christie Station. I'll be going to a bar to watch England play Norway, Holland versus Kane. like this tiger used to light up. Oh well, goodbye Koreatown. And I hope you enjoyed this one. I look forward to your thoughts and comments down below. If you wish to support what I do, there's links to my Patreon and YouTube channel membership down in the description. It is hot and I've been outside walking around too much. Time to go somewhere air conditioned and grab an ice cold adult beverage. Anyways, thank you for watching, guys. Yoink.